What's up, y'all? I'm over here reading what y'all talking in the chat room. I was over like reading, like, let me see what these niggas talking about before I go live. He said you got a poem where you put Michael Eric Dyson on the blast. I want to hear that. What's up, y'all? Everybody listening over on Twitter. Everybody listening on YouTube. What's up, Kenny? What's up, Miriam? Kenny's over on X. What up? What up, Sister Miriam? Yeah. Yeah. So we want to talk about Super Simp of the Year, Michael Eric Dyson. And I used to like Eric Dyson too back in the day. Like when I was in college and back in the days, I used to watch Bill Maher all the time. Man, I used to love Michael Eric Dyson. You know, like when him and Cornell would come on together and they'd be talking about the vociferous platypus of the Hegelian dialect of the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. You'd be like, yeah, brother, yeah, brother. And then around like 2008, 2009, I was like, I done heard this man say it, because I started listening to Eric Dyson around like 03, 04. And mostly I would read him. He would have columns in MSNBC.com in the early days of the media, you know, like in those places. And I would read him, and then I would hear him talk every now and again, and the soliloquies of his speech and the impeccable timing of his words and the way he puts his words together and the way how clean and smooth he is. It would just be like, yes, there go an intelligent brother. Because like you talking like 04, this hip hop had gotten all the way stupid by 04. Everything is in 04, everything is get low. And now get low was cool and everything. And I just like going to get low contests and watching them chicks do what they do. But the music had gotten bad by then. We dealing with Nelly, we dealing with, you know, Jay-Z talking about hoes and clothes is what's gonna make you a man. We dealing with some bullshit. So Michael Eric Dyson came around the time. It was like, okay, I want to hear something. But around like 08, I was like, this nigga's doing a whole lot of talking and he ain't said shit. And then I still watched him for a while, but I was starting to see like, what's going on here? What's going on here? I like the vociferous proclivities of his words, but what in the Hegelian Noah's Ark 15-liter combination expialidocious shit is this motherfucker talking about? So by the time 2011, 12 came, I was like, yeah, this is just a loud talking. This just what he reminded me of them light-skinned preachers, you know what I mean? He reminded me of Bishop McClendon over here in LA. If you ever saw that show, Preachers of LA, it was a dude named Bishop McClendon. He had a church. He still got a church out here. And I'm not going to disrespect the brother, but I went to his church a couple times. I'm like, this is just a light-skinned, loud, soft-spoken, good, well-spoken, big word-using ass nigga not saying shit. So by like 11, 12, I concluded, all right, Michael Eric Dyson. And what really made me off Michael Eric Dyson is this letter that he had put out. This really raised my antennas. Letter to, because he and Cornell West used to be real cool. What made me really be like off him was when he did that public critique and did that public letter on why he's no longer cool with Dr. Cornell West. It was this shit right here. This was like, before I was just kind of like off Eric Dyson, but when I saw him publicly go at Cornell West, I'm like, for what? Like, okay, y'all not cool no more. But he like literally like wrote like Let me see. Oh man, you gotta sign up for this shit. I'm about to sign up for this. Well, anyway, go ahead and just Google that public critique of Cornell West that he did. Where he basically, when Cornell West was challenging President Obama, like, yo, look, dude, you basically ain't done nothing, man. He did this shit. That's when I was like, okay, this nigga's all the way on their team. So this is just a precursor to what we're gonna talk about in the show. I'm gonna play the video that Michael Eric Dyson did and why we calling him Simp of the Year. We're gonna play that video in a second. But first, before we play that video, what you gotta do is go to DewanB.com. Go to DewanB.com and scroll through, get your t-shirts. I'm about to get rid of that. This is about to be the last week of my fuck around and find out merch. Y'all been buying last year. Not that many of these sold, but this year y'all been moving these. So this will be the last week. This will be the last week to fuck around and find out, and to take a seat, Karen, and those shirts will be available. And year round, we always got these. And I got the Black American tree while it's still around on this edition. Anything that I do, you can go to my breakthrough card site. You can access on the business side. You can go right there to breakthroughcards.com for your readings. I'm about to open up another Patreon level for my readings too, so you can go there for all that good shit. All that. All right. Oh yeah, y'all also got to go to patreon.com. Y'all got to go to patreon.com and sign up for the Patreon, because I will have, I think Tuesday, Dr. Randy Short. And Dr. Short's going to call in today. A matter of fact, it would be good if I gave Dr. Short the damn number to call into, because I'm definitely going to want his opinion on what we talking about here. Definitely going to want Dr. Short's opinion on this particular thing. But before we get into this, let me go to what Michael Eric Dyson said. What we talking about? Oh, you said Judge Brown? Oh, yeah, remember Judge Brown tore him up? Yeah. And salute to the chat room, y'all. Salute to the chat room. Salute to the chat room. Salute to the chat room. Appreciate y'all for joining. But let's go into the vociferous proclivities of Michael Eric Dyson's words, and then we're going to talk about here why he is the Simp of the Year. All right? So let's play it, and we're going to be playing through it. All right, let me and while I'm playing this, I will hit up Dr. Randy Short and give him the number.
Just a love note for Black women this morning, for little girls, for aunties, for grandmothers, for wives, for partners, for lovers, for teachers, ditch diggers, engineers, around the way girls, to presidential candidates. We Black men who have too often failed you, who have too often not said the right thing at the right time, who have been vulnerable to the claim that we have forgotten what you have done for us, the magnificence of your service to our people, the beauty and power of your spirit at times when we flagged. We remember all the remarkable things you have done and beg your forgiveness for us not standing up for you when times were tough, or when no one else was in the room to defend you, to assert the legitimacy and validity of your personhood. Please forgive us. But no more will that occur. And so the other night, Keith Boykin and I were on CNN trying to be respectful to the Congresswoman who insisted upon misnaming, mispronouncing Kamala Harris. Do you call Melania? Do you call Ivanka? Then call Kamala. Then call Vice President Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris. And soon, we pray and hope and work that you will call her President Kamala Harris. So this is a note to put on notice anybody who would come for us, who would try to stain the reputation or besmirch the character of Black women, not only the Kamala Harrises of the world, but the Shaniquas and the Jackies and the Renees and whoever else a Black woman happens to be and whatever else her name happens to be. We will stand tall for them, not you unprincipled harridans, you people who assault the legitimacy of our Black womanhood. More than 20 years ago, in 2003, I wrote a book called Why I Love Black Women. It wasn't a thing. It wasn't Black women magic. It wasn't Black boy joy. This was before there was a trend. So I've been doing this. I've been on the front line of defending Black women. I have been on the front line of saying that despite our imperfections as Black men, despite the ways I have personally hurt or harmed any human being who happens to be a Black woman on this earth, despite all of that, what I have always understood is the principled deference to their power and their spirit and the principled defense of their humanity in the face of unprincipled assault. And so this is just a reminder that we will continue to stand as Black men for Black women. We will continue to have your backs. We will continue to uplift you. We will not allow.
Okay, I've had enough. Kamala Harris does not represent Black women. This is my issue, and I'm gonna go back and break some of this up scene by scene down. This is my issue. This is my issue. And then after Dr. Short come in, we're gonna go back and break a lot of this stuff down. Kamala Harris does not represent Black women. It was a part in the video early on. Let's go back.
For Black women this morning.
When he says for auntie.
For little girls. For aunties.
Right there. Right there. Y'all remember that? I did the video. Let me see if I can put it up. Remember that video? You remember that video where, let me see here. What was that video? X.com. What was that video? I have it bookmarked. Let me go to my bookmarks. 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 I'm going to show y'all when Kamala Harris said, but don't call me auntie. She was very specific about that, showing the cultural the differences between us and her. No, it wasn't that one. It was a Kamala. That's what it was. A Kamala cooking video. That's what it was. Kamala cooking. Tamil cooking recipes. I want to play something for y'all real quick. Kamala Harris. Here it is. Just found the video.
How my mother kept all of this stuff.
It's so funny.
What is that?
Let me see here. Remember this video right here. Let me see here. Let me see here. This video right here.
Yeah,
this is so nice. Are you stressed for making Indian food?
Oh my God, you do it out of taste. Oh my, you have no idea. This is how my mother kept all of her stuff.
This is so funny. I told my dad, I was like bringing over the stuff from the store. He's like, obviously I put them in Taster's Choice.
But
this is how Kamala Harris cooks.
It's so funny.
What is that?
Do they tell each
I
other?
don't know.
Taster's Choice.
Hi guys, it's Mindy. I'm here in my kitchen. Here's what I want to know.
Okay.
Is it respectful to
right here.
call...
Listen
I
to
should
this
be
part.
calling you Senator Harris, right?
No, you should not. That's not on my birth certificate.
Okay.
Call
Comma?
yes, please.
Okay, because the Indian in me, I feel like my parents,
Just
my
don't
dad
call
will
me-
watch this.
Just don't call me auntie.
Okay, okay. I won't call you auntie. They'll be
Oh!
Indian in me, I feel like my parents,
Just
my
don't
dad
call
will
me-
watch this.
Just don't call me auntie.
Okay, okay. I won't call you.
You hear that? Just don't call me auntie.
Me, I feel like my parents,
Just
my
don't
dad
call
will
me-
watch this.
Just don't call me auntie.
Okay, okay, I won't call you auntie. They'll be like,
Big
how could you
goofy
call her?
ass cackling ass laugh. But you have Michael Eric Dyson, super simp of the year, trying to compare her to black women.
Just a love note for black women this morning. For little girls. For aunties.
My
Just don't
dad
call
will
me-
watch this.
Just don't call me auntie.
Okay, okay, I won't call you auntie.
So already, Michael Eric Dyson, you being disrespectful to Kamala Harris because she don't like being called auntie. So one part about cultural respect is to respect people at the lines and the boundaries that they draw. Do y'all know it's actually culturally disrespectful to... Do y'all know it's disrespectful to assign somebody what you think their culture is based off their phenotype? Do you know that's actually racist? Do y'all know that's actually racist to call someone what you think they are? I just showed a video where she said, don't call me auntie. I'm going to go deeper into this as we go on, but before I go deeper into this, I had to have my brother call in Dr. Short, man. Dr. Short, I saw your tweets. I woke up and I said I'm gonna do this because this was the last thing I saw last night on Twitter before I went to bed, and I said I'm gonna talk about this shit tomorrow. Then I woke up and I saw your tweets, and I said, Dr. Short, can you please give us like 10 to 15, 5-10 minutes of your time so you can tell us about Michael Eric Dyson, then we can get back to what we got to do.
Okay, it's real simple, guys. It's not like I follow everything that Michael Eric Dyson does, but unfortunately, I've had a situation. One of the very first articles that I ever wrote attacking a coon public figure was an article I wrote called Trifling Dyson. Trifling Dyson. And that's because, Michael Eric Dyson was dogging Coretta Scott King. Yes, it was in Emerge magazine. And that's why, in the 90s, this goes back. And I raised so much hell with him. I think he's an Omega Sci-Fi. He's a boule. Michael Eric Dyson wrote this really nasty thing in Emerge magazine about Coretta Scott King when Coretta Scott King was trying to handle business. I mean, not so much for the younger kings, but I think Coretta Scott King, she needs some damn money. In fact, the boule never wants anybody black to have money that's not in their shit. So he came out trashing Coretta Scott King. I wrote a piece denouncing Michael Eric Dyson. In fact, I was not allowed to go to chapel at Howard because they didn't want me to get in his face. How dare you? See, Michael Eric Dyson doesn't respect black women. He's a liar. He's a fraud. My experience with Michael Eric Dyson is exactly 30 years old. My first experience is doing a pre-interview with Michael Eric Dyson for McNeil Lehrer NewsHour, right around the first book he ever did, the first book that was going. And I was the person assigned to interview him, to get questions and get the background information. So when he was interviewed by maybe Charlene Hunter Galt or somebody like that, they would look like they actually had done the reading and knew what they were talking about. Are you understanding me?
Yeah.
And the news channel called pre-interviews. So I did like an hour pre-interview with Michael Eric Dyson. And the thing I always tell people is that Michael Eric Dyson, he thought I was white. So when he's talking to me, he's saying all this stuff and even taking little barbs and stabs at black people to try to ingratiate himself to me. And I ignored it because I'm doing my job. When he couldn't get me charged on the stuff he was saying and being in the ghetto and fighting and all this other kind of stuff, He says, well, you know, I'm a welfare father. My first baby was born out of wedlock. And he said, and my woman was on welfare. And I cut him off and says, why is this important for you to trash the mother of your child to me? Who does that? Why is that necessary?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the mother of your child. You were late with her. Why would you tell a stranger that, especially a stranger in the media? Sir. Okay, that lets you know what he thinks about that, who the outlook is that he's married to. That he would put her business out there like that to a stranger over the phone to try to get the jollies on of some racist reporter he thought I was.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't even catch himself to say, excuse me. He didn't even thank me for dignifying his baby or his wife.
Damn.
He's a narcissist. If he'll dog his wife like that, what will he do to any other black woman? So when I see all these niggas doing queen genuflecting, I know that they're a hoe. Let's do some more.
Go ahead.
So he dogged Mrs. King and that little punk ass dean of the chapel at Howard University. I'm talking about you, Richardson. They didn't let me in there. They were afraid I was going to go in on his ass because Richardson them know. I mean, I'm not a tough guy. I'm a small, sickly black dude. But on principle, to confront that lying nigga. How could you do that to Mrs. King? There's a lot of negative stuff I'd say to Mrs. King, but damn, let her have some money. What is it to you? So they dogged Mrs. King. They dogged Mrs. King, and it was wrong. Now, I'll do one more.
Go ahead.
Know that he's in the Greek Letter Society. And I always tell the story of my guy named Paul McKinley. He's in, he runs with Mark Carter, the dude that's always making news in Chicago. And he called me in 2015 about Michael Eric Dyson. And he says, a guy of mine, because Michael Eric Dyson, Cornell West, and Tavis Smiley are all here in Chicago. He says, okay. He says, and you know what? Cornell West didn't go to a party my friend went to at somebody's house, and it turned out to be a boule, a fraternity orgy.
Oh, one of them.
And he said Tavis Smiley and Dyson went, but Cornell West didn't go. I'm not saying this is true. I'm saying this was what was reported to me by Paul McKinley in Chicago. And I says, Paul, you know how I feel about the boule and these freaky things, So, I mean, it's completely possible because everybody knows that Michael Eric Dyson tries to screw everybody. There's a woman, she teaches at San Francisco State University. I think her name is Donna Lisa Fisher. I think she's gay now with the woman, but she was being hounded by Michael Eric Dyson. And anywhere you go, this guy, he begs for pussy more.
Oh man, I'm not gonna put anybody's name out there, but I got a homegirl here in LA that Michael Eric Dyson was wounded women allegedly with.
He hounds people that don't even want him. And so don't tell me that you respect women because you're married. You cheat on your wife. You're a serial adulterer. It's alleged you went to a orgy where there were men only. I didn't say he went. And what I said to Paul McKinley in 2015, Paul, I don't know. I wasn't there. This is what you're saying. Paul gets names confused. Maybe it wasn't Michael Eric Dyson. But I said if Michael Eric Dyson is guilty of anything, or Cornell West wouldn't go to something boys' night out with the other two went to, you're probably going to see an article denouncing Cornell West by Michael Eric Dyson, and maybe something like the New Republic or the Atlantic magazine. That would lead me to believe that maybe something happened man to man between them, and they're mad at him for not participating in reindeer games. Well, within a month or two in 2015, look it up, Michael Eric Dyson did a long piece, and I think Atlantic Monthly dogging Cornell West.
Dr. Short, I literally just talked about that before. I know I can tell you weren't listening, bruh. I literally just brought that up about 15 minutes ago when I was telling the people like it was a progression because I've never met him. I've only seen. I was a fan of him at one point, and I was talking about the progression. And when I started looking at him funny, but when he wrote that letter, I'm glad you brought that up because I want to hear your perspective on this. I want to give you my perspective before because I want you to give me your answer based off of what I'm about to give you right now. When I saw that, because you know him, when I saw that from a distance, my first thought was, why is this black man writing a letter to tell the whole world while he's distancing himself from another black man, and basically it being over because Cornel West isn't following the in the way you think he should? That was my point of view from a distance. Now I want you to talk about it from your point of view when he wrote that stupid ass letter while I look it up.
I only said to you that this was my take to Paul McKinley in 2015, 9 years ago.
That's crazy.
Maybe there is some falling out between them. Maybe gay agenda. I don't know.
It was Obama.
But Obama was for the gay agenda.
Yeah, too. Yeah.
Blatantly so. So there you have it. And where's Obama from?
Chicago.
Where was the orgy supposedly? Chicago. I'm saying allegedly, but somebody and this happened. I'll do some more. That if you recall when they were going after Malcolm X, a good friend, a very close friend of Michael Eric Dyson, Dr. Manning Marable, had that book on Malcolm X, making Malcolm X out that he gave blowjobs or hand jobs or received blowjobs from rich white men on Beacon Hill in Boston back in the day. Michael Eric Dyson was toe-to-toe supporting Manning Marable and putting out and making out that Malcolm X, was a fruit booty when he was young.
I remember that propaganda they were trying to put out. Yeah, they were trying to put that propaganda out. Yeah.
And not only that, Michael, what's his name? The one that probably is into, Mark Lamont Hill.
Oh, yeah, he was part of that.
All of them trying to make Malcolm X gay, right? So when you start looking at this and you start understanding, and then I'm going to do some more.
Real quick, Dr. Short, real quick. The article for you guys, I just put it in the chat. You got to pay for it, but it's in the New Republic, the full article. I just put it in the chat. And also, I'm going to put into the chat, if you want to go to the Root, is an article that was written in the Root back when the Root was somewhat halfway relevant, about 10 years ago, the whole hit piece that Dr. Short is referring to. Go ahead, Dr. Short.
So it's real simple. Dyson got run out of D.C. for sexually harassing students at I think it's Georgetown University where he was.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
He's got allegations going back 20 plus years deep of sexually harassing women. And by the way, his wife runs with Hillary Clinton. His wife and them all partnered. They were the whole pedophile agenda that the Clintons were doing, taking children and letting black girls get raped and taken, that his wife is running with Hillary as they destroy democracy for blacks in Haiti, right? They didn't open their mouths when tens of thousands of blacks died under the earthquake ruins in Haiti. This is when Michael Eric Dyson's wife is running with stud Hillary Clinton. And by the way, you never see him with his wife. And if my wife looked like that, if I had one, you wouldn't see me with her either. Mm-hmm. This is obviously, and she's probably a Delta. She's hard enough to be a cinder block. And she's supposedly a woman preacher. And a whole lot of women preachers out here are gay. They're studs with the puffy sleeves in the church that have more chin hair than a hippie. I mean, we're tired of this stuff. So Michael Eric Dyson, my wife looks like that. He's a talker, he's boule, and he's all over the place. And when I saw Michael Eric Dyson last the Congressional Black Caucus, he was pissed at me, and I know why he's pissed. He's pissed because in Curtis Schoon's documentary on Vimeo and Amazon, Black, White, and Blue, I dog Black Lives Matter for pushing the gay agenda. So a lot of people think Michael Eric Dyson is like, you know, what's that thing on the clock that swings both ways? He's a little Tarzan. I'm not saying he's one thing or the other, but I'm saying he's a liar, he's a cheater, he's an adulterer, he's boule. He is an enemy of the people on principle. He doesn't stand for anything.
And Dr. Short,
and to me,
just to let the people know, to verify what you're saying, I want everybody to look on screen. I'm typing in Dr. Short Talks, but I put all of these links in the description. I just did it now, so y'all can go to the description to verify all of these links that I'm talking about. This isn't like this. This is our opinion. This is our point of view. We're not saying it's factually correct. We're saying we're gathering our information based off of public information that's currently out there. And if you look at this article right now on the Voice, if you look at this article, I have it in the description. It's talking about he was fired as a Georgetown professor over student harassment, improper relationships as a teacher to students. And that right there, this is something that I just found on a first page on Google. I'm not saying it's all the way right. These are allegations. He hasn't been proven guilty of anything, but these are some allegations that tend to. Here it is right here. It says Dyson was accused by multiple Black women of sexual misconduct at Georgetown University, where he was a professor of sociology from 2007 to 2020. So what Dr. Short is talking about is something that's already out there. We're not saying he's guilty. We're not saying he did it. This has not been proven in the court of law, but we're bringing this up because he did this video talking about how much he loves and respects Black women. So we're just putting it out there, some of his track record when it comes to Black women. Go ahead, Dr. Short. Tell them what you want to say. Go ahead and close it out, and then we'll get ready for Tuesday. Well, go ahead.
I want people to understand this. One, there's nothing wrong with praising Black women. There's nothing wrong with complimenting. It should be sincere. We should be, at least some of the time, real about what we say and what we do. You will see the people in the boule are never real about anything. He's probably with Kamala because she's a hoe. I mean, okay? A nut doesn't fall too far from the TV.
Yeah. You damn right about that.
And remind everybody you can find me, you know, in spite of whatever's facing me, I'm on the Angry Black Men's Book Club. And
hold on. Let's say that one more time. Dr. Short is on Angry Man's Book Club. Look for his YouTube link. Angry Black Men's Club.
Thank you, Brother Dewan, my friend in Tanzania. He knew all about you. So we went to Howard together.
Okay.
Yeah, and everybody knows that these boule people that they put up before you, they're fronts, they're liars, they never take a stand on anything. And I'll say this finally. In that documentary called Black, White, and Blue, Michael Eric Dyson would not talk about the issues with Black Lives Matter. That's how I got the documentary. He's a dishonest man. He is a deeply flawed, dishonest man who has access. And you can tell him I said it. And I'll tell you, thanks to people like Dewanzi and others, we're raising so much hell. We may actually see the boule collapse this year, in particular at the Democratic Convention and this AME, African Methodist Episcopal Church Conference in Columbus, Ohio, where the boule-controlled African Methodist Episcopal Church may go rainbow and Skittles. I'm done, brother.
And that's Angry Black Man's Book Club. Thank you again, Dr. Randy Short. We'll talk soon. I'll call you later on.
All right.
All right. Dr. Short and I, we are starting a series on Patreon. And the reason I'm going to Patreon because, like I said, I had to sneak Dr. Short in on y'all because our YouTube does not like Dr. Randy Short and they be suspending stuff. So the only way we can keep it going and keep everybody happy, you can join Patreon on any level to get the Dr. Randy Short interviews. The live interviews is going to be on the live interview lounging up. The other levels for the lower level, it'll be up and available on the other level as soon as we're done with the live. So in order to get, because Dr. Short, I don't like to edit Dr. Randy Short. You know, for those of you who've been around for a long time, y'all know how Dr. Short can really go in. And if you watched our interviews over the last year, you've seen me pull back on things that he can say only because that's not what I want. That's what YouTube wants. And I'm on YouTube's platform, so I have to respect YouTube's wishes. And for you niggas out there saying, that's why we need our own platform. Well, build one, nigga, and I'll come, okay? Until then, we're going to stay over here on YouTube where people are. So don't come in distracting. We need our own platforms. Yeah, we know that, nigga. Now, yeah. Now go make one. And go make the big, and then go get the billionaires to fund it like they did YouTube. All them years YouTube made no money. And it was constantly funded by billionaires. Let's go make that happen before you come around talking something. Well, we need our own network. Ain't you cliche repeating ass niggas. So in the meantime, yes, we're on these white folks networks. It's the only ones that fucking work. But we do have certain workarounds. And over on Patreon, Dr. Short can give you the realest of the real of the real. And the parts that aren't too real, I'll clip those and put those up on YouTube. The parts that Dr. Short don't go all the way there, when he goes somewhat of the way there, I'll clip some of those up and put them on YouTube for you guys. All right. But I can't have YouTube suspending my channel anymore. But at the same time, I want you guys to get the information if you so care to get it. All right? And if you don't, that's fine too. Ain't anybody force you to do nothing. But if you value Dr. Randy Short, and, you know, I also want to find a way to pay Dr. Randy Short. So doing it over on Patreon, you know, he volunteers so much of his time. You know, I want to be able to pay him. So, yeah, yes, I do want to pay. Some of y'all are like, well, black men, this information should be free. No, I'm paying the man for his time. As we should, because we value Dr. Randy Short. So yes, he should have a budget to come on and speak to us. Why not? Vlad gives people budgets to talk bullshit. We should be able to give our information gatherers and purveyors of information, they should get budgets too. Not just rappers and bullshit, former gang members. Our scholars should have a budget to come speak to us too. I believe in that. So that's what we're doing over there on Patreon. You dig? So let's go back. In that interview with Dr. Short will be on Tuesday on Patreon. And Patreon, after I'm done with this live, I'm gonna do a Patreon where we're gonna talk a little bit of music on Patreon. I'm gonna show y'all some things on. I'm not gonna do the How They Stole Destruction of Black Music series today. I'll do that sometime later on. Today, I'm going to show the Black American roots of Latin music, and we're gonna dive into that a little bit on Patreon today. Get some real deep music shit, and that'll be right after this. Well, anyway, let's go back to this shucking and jiving, well-spoken version of Mike Tyson.
Just a love note for black women this morning. For little girls, for aunties, for grandmothers, for wives, for partners, for lovers, for teachers, ditch diggers, engineers, around the way girls, to presidential candidates. We black men who have too often failed you, who have too often not said the right thing at the right time, who have been...
No. I ain't about to jump into that. He talking some why when it comes to the lower nature, the things that go wrong, every group has this lower vibrational groups of people. It's people that don't get it right. It's people that's always fucking up. Everybody got that. Everybody got that. Everybody got that in their communities. Why do we all gotta take it on? And it's all, think about it, the ones that's always talking something, we black men, and they go right to something wrong. They don't ever say we black men get, have you ever heard him say we black men get PhDs, like college degrees like me? No, but he talks about we black men doing people wrong. But then look, you go here again, this article's in the description. Dr. Short don't be just pulling shit out of his ass. The stuff that he says is stuff that we can pull up, but he knows how to put the information together. So, yeah, so this is the guy who he was accused of misconduct over a protracted period of time. You did? So, no, he has not been known. He does not have any charges, but he does have a history of allegations. And I'm not saying, I'm not one to believe all allegations levied on black men. But when black men say we, I'm going to check your record or leave us out. Because shit, I'm there for my women, my wife, my mother, my sister, my homegirls. I've never not been. So I'm not going to take that. Now, I do know that there are some men who haven't, but I'm not about to sit there and apologize for them, nigga. Nah, because I know I've done my goddamn job to the best of my ability, outside of some mistakes here and there. So let's be real.
Vulnerable to the claim that.
Hey, and don't Michael Eric Dyson look like Fred Hammond? Side note. Don't he look like Let the Praise Begin? Let the praise begin. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Let the praise. When the Spirit of the Lord comes upon my heart, I will dance like David danced. When the Spirit of the Lord, I'm sorry, he just took me back to my church days when I used to play the drums at church. When the Spirit of the Lord comes upon my heart, I will dance, I will dance. Y'all remember that song? Let me see. He said, has he ever had a real job? That's a good point. That's a good question. LAPD SWAT 1. I don't know. Man, but he do look like Fred Hammond.
That we have forgotten what you have done for us, the magnificence of your service to our people, the beauty and power of your spirit at times when we flagged.
This light-skinned nigga pandering. This sounds like every light-skinned nigga trying to get in a woman's drawers, don't it? Oh, baby, 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 baby. You so, ooh, baby, 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 baby. Look, this is why I called him Simp of the Year. Black women don't need pandering. As a matter of fact, when you pander to black women like that, like this in general, you also fail to, and you neglect the ones, when you highlight the lower dregs of black male society, the ones who don't protect, the ones who don't stand up, the ones who get accused of women on their wife for a 13-year protracted period of time. What you do when you do that, when you overemphasize that, then you just say all black women. Now you're putting all black women in the same boat, as if we don't have some black women that are dregs of our society too, that don't raise their kids right, that don't follow up and go down to the school to meet their kids' teachers. You know what I mean? the ones who keep allowing sorry, ancient, worthless ass niggas to spray up in them raw, and they're on their fourth kid by the third nigga, and all three of them niggas wasn't shit. And I'm not here to diss all black women. We just know that that is a type, that is a form of black women. We are fucked up as a people, men and women, in a lot of ways. It's not. I don't like to blame one side more than the other. It's mutual. Black men failed when it came to when our society was overthrown over hundreds and hundreds of years of wars with these people. There came a point sometime in the 1800s, 1700s, to where our societies failed, and we had to capitulate to their society. That's where we fucked up in a lot of ways. Improper war strategy, not planning, things like that. Black women have their own blame. Siding with white men, raising their children based off of what white society standards are, and raising black boys to be timid and not protect. It goes all across. But you still got a lot of black people who are fighting and who are doing the right thing. And doing the right thing does not, and last time I checked, does not include spending all year to fucking vote for somebody else. Because there's so many black people who don't fuck with Kamala, who don't fuck with the political process in general, and they raise their families. The women raise their kids to know who they are. The men protect their kids. And if you ask me, that's the overwhelming majority of black people, if you ask me. You know what I mean? That's the one. Appreciate the Cash App, Courtney G. Appreciate the Cash App. Appreciate the Cash App. But, so no, we got to stop talking as if black society is a monolith. And we have fucked up people in our society, and we have good people in our society. But the fucked up people do not get to represent our society. That's why y'all never hear me talk about too much the ancient ratchets. Because the ratchets are not black women. Ratchets are ratchets. They're not black women. Cardi B's not black women. And neither is Kamala Harris. They stopped showing real black women. If quiet is kept, they really stopped fucking with black women on TV in the 90s. The last time you seen any real black, basically, I would go so far as say 8 out of 10 real natural born black American. I don't even know you can find 8. But 80% of the time, if you see a black woman on TV that's a real black American, she started in the 90s or the 80s. You ain't gonna find too many real black women that started on TV 10 years ago. They push other people out there for us. But just because the propaganda mill pushes them out, don't mean that's who we are. Those are the folks that white people choose to represent us. It's not who the fuck we are. And I'm always going, and I got respect for Michael Eric Dyson, but no. You niggas gotta stop playing all of us so you can look good. Y'all gotta stop playing us. Y'all gotta stop making the worst of us be the representation so you can be the white knight with your vociferous, proclivorous words and shit. Fuck that. You don't get to capitalize and be the white, the Negro in shining armor off the rest of us. Kiss my whole ass.
Remember all the remarkable things you have done and beg your forgiveness for us not standing up for you when times were tough or when no one else was in the room to defend you, to assert the legitimacy and validity of your personhood. Please forgive us. But no more.
What do you mean forgive us? And this is what makes the bad part about it. He's not doing this to a black woman. He's doing this to...
Because the Indian in me, I feel like my parents,
Just
my
don't
dad
call
will
me-
watch this.
Just don't call me auntie.
Okay. I won't call you auntie. They'll be like, how could you call her by her first name? She's worked so hard. Okay, so what we're gonna cook today
Yeah. This black woman.
which is I printed out a recipe from the internet.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so when I told my
Yeah. So he's on all this simping for this.
get those black votes by telling y'all that she knows how.
Is this black women?
So many that so I know how to make a mean pot of greens. In fact, people used to ask me to make greens for them for Christmas. One year, I had so many that I had to wash that we ended up washing them in the bathtub. So I am not playing around. So
Y'all can't hear? Y'all couldn't hear that?
what you got? Right, Marlon? So I know.
Muted. Who muted? Y'all, is it me or the TV? What's muted? On my side, the shit's good. What y'all talking about? They fucking with us? Or is it just your goddamn computer? Okay, I'm good. I'm on my end. Shit look good to me. Let's go back. First off, she says, I cook a mean pot of greens. Did she just finish watching Coffee? The fuck? Did she just, what the fuck? Did she just finish watching Foxy Brown? I cook some mean pot of greens. Can you dig it? Did this bitch just finish watching goddamn Superfly? What? Did she put her hands on her hips too? And did she only thing she was missing was one hand on one hip and a spatula in the other one. I cook a mean pot of greens. The fuck? I don't know black women that talk like that in 2024.
Right, Marlon? So I know how to make a mean pot of greens. In fact, people used to ask me to make greens for them for Christmas. One year, I had so many that I had to wash that we ended up washing them in the bathtub. So I am not playing around. So
Black people, name one black person on earth that you know is gonna cook anything in the bathtub. In the bathroom. Black people, if we just reheated some food in a microwave, we're not about to walk past the bathroom with an open door with the food in our hand, let alone go in the bathroom with food. We don't, black Americans don't do that. I remember the only time my mom and my sister would really get into it when my sister was really young was when my mom would always tell my sister, put a scarf or a hairnet on. Don't come in my kitchen. My sister has really long hair. Longer hair than Kamala. Like my sister's hair go all the way down her back when she grows it all the way out. And my mom would always tell her, put a hairnet or a scarf on when you come in this kitchen. That would be like, my mom and my sister get along. They're best friends to this day. That would be the only time they had disruptions. And that's when my sister was young. I'm talking about when my sister, I was probably like 4 or 5. So my sister was like 8, 9. And once my sister figured, you don't do that shit. We don't have dogs in the kitchen, on the countertop. None of that shit. And she's talking about putting some fucking greens in a bathtub? I cook a mean pot of greens. Can you dig it, sucker? Now, Jack, that pot is real whack. I'm going to cut you some slack and cock this mean pot of greens and take the time down to a couple teens. The fuck is she talking about? What the fuck is she talking about?
what you got? Right, Marlon? So I know how to make a mean pot of greens. In fact, people used to ask me to make greens for them for Christmas. One year, I had so many that I had to wash that we ended up washing them in the bathtub. So,
bitch, you unsanitary. You ain't black. My God. Let's keep going.
Or will that occur? And so the other night, Keith Boykin and I were on CNN trying to be respectful to the Congresswoman who insisted upon misnaming, mispronouncing Kamala Harris.
So this whole dramatic farce that he's throwing up is over some goddamn person mispronouncing her name. Her Indian name. This is what he's patting himself on the back for.
Talk about rerun Kamala's.
You had it right. You almost got it.
I will say Kamala's name any way that I want to.
No,
but
you mispronounced her and you also misjudged her.
I just did, and I'll do it again.
Mispronouncing her name.
That's a refusal to acknowledge her humanity.
If I purposely mispronounced your name, that would not be appropriate.
Policies are Joe Biden's policies. She owns it.
You're normalizing that kind of viciousness, man.
33 times. She was the deciding.
See, that shit
She
right
was
there.
on Joe Biden's bills. She was 33 times the deciding vote on Joe Biden's bills in the Senate.
She has to own them because she was his vice president. However, we all know that the vice president is not setting the policies. The president is.
So that's what he's patting himself over the back for.
Take a look at the 4 states that New York Times, Siena College.
That's what he's patting himself over the back for.
Kamala's.
On the back for.
We'll take a look at the 4 states that New York.
How her name is really pronounced.
Was her ascendancy guaranteed?
A name that's not even a Black American name. They talking policies, and these niggas is getting long. Who does that? You're over here conflating you defending an Indian woman's name to you being some goddamn abolitionist. I got some super chats over here. I didn't even see the super chats. I got Willie Walker just said, I can't. Dyson is his wife Latina? I don't know. I'm gonna look it up. If she is, look, somebody give me a link. Vic said, the what society? I guess you got to go back and rewind, brother. He said he had a real job, yeah. But yeah, is his wife Latina? I'm gonna look it up. I don't know. I think she's black. I think his wife is black. I don't think she's Latina. I think she's black. I don't know what's going on with this sound cutting out. Because on my end, all this shit is good. Like, I don't know, maybe it's when I cut scenes, I don't know. Maybe I'll just stop cutting scenes. Maybe I'll just stay here on the scenes and stop cutting away. Because y'all keep saying the sound's going out. But here on my system, the sound is fine. I'm getting the little green bar that's going to the yellow, not topping out at red. I don't know. Maybe I'll just stop cutting scenes. When I cut scenes, it's doing that. Bruh. He said, I have a feeling I would not have made it very far in HBCU. Me too. I'm glad I went to Cal State Northridge. And stop all that shit about Kamala going to an HBCU make her black. No, nigga. I graduated from the same fucking school as Kamala's husband, Cal State Northridge. Me and Kamala's husband graduated from the same college. Don't make me white and white no more than her graduating from Howard make her black. School is where you go to get a fucking education. Cal State Northridge is where I learned communication studies and cultural anthropology. That's where I learned how to sort, to research information and disseminate it in a clear manner. That's all it did. It didn't teach me how to be fucking white. Kamala Harris went and studied political science at Howard. Howard taught her great, keen political science strategy. One strategy is how to get over on you niggas. That's what she learned at Howard. She learned political science, not how to be black. And if you understand the history of Howard, you'd also know that Howard University was created to be a buffer school so that the mulatto children of slave owners didn't have to go to Tuskegee, but they weren't quite wide enough to go to Harvard. So Howard, Fisk University, and certain not all HBCUs, but specifically Howard and Fisk, were literally created to create a black buffer class. If you want a black buffer class nigga, send them to Howard. I'm not saying all niggas that went to Howard are like that. There are definitely some revolutionaries. There are definitely people who bucked the system in Howard. There are great people who went to Howard, and all are not like that. But we can show a long line of niggas who are. And the ones who did graduate Howard, like Dr. Frances Wilson, when she came back to teach the ISIS papers, she was not allowed to teach. They kicked her ass off campus and fired her. They fired William Leo Hansberry, the father of Black history. They fired Carter G. Woodson, right? The reason why we have Black History Week that went turned into Black History Month. They fired Dr. John Henry Clark. They fired Dr. Ben Yosef Jacqueline. All the great fucking minds in Black society, Howard has gotten rid of. So I don't want to hear that shit about her going to Howard, making her kind of extra black. Hell, her going to Howard probably taught her how to be a better coon. If you're going to ask me, nigga. Yes, Boule Shields are paid crisis actors for Democrats. That's a good point, Willis. Yeah, you're right. George, she wanted the Hillary Clinton hot sauce play with that bullshit. Man, please. Let's keep going.
Do you call Melania Melania? Do you call Ivanka Ivanka? Then call Kamala Kamala. Then call Vice President Harris.
We need policy for black people. Because, like I mentioned in my show yesterday, Asians got specific policy under the Biden-Harris administration. They got over 13% of all federal grants. Federal dollars in post-COVID money in contracts, beefing up their economy. They got guaranteed 15% guaranteed management positions in Congress. Throughout the in office. Go to my show. Go to my show for 2 days ago, or go to May 9th, WhiteHouse.gov, May 9th. Mm-hmm. Right here, May 9th, 2024. It shows you what the Biden-Harris administration gave to Asians. Right, Rachel Dolezal went to Howard. How the fuck? This is what we need to be talking about, Michael Eric Dyson. See, black people, they are political misleaders like Dyson. Their job is to get us to focus in on some minor bullshit. The whole situation about her name, they've been mispronouncing black names since the beginning of time. We all know that that's what they do. Again, we're out of the line. Kamala Harris doesn't have a black name. She has an Indian name. We know that's one of the games that they play. Fine. Why are we spending more time, Brother Dyson, talking about that and not talking about policy and all this money she gave up? Look at this. Look at this part right here. In 2021, I'm going to highlight it. Look at what I have highlighted. In 2021, President Biden set a bold goal to increase total federal contracting dollars to small disadvantaged businesses. Disadvantages started as black people, but now that used to be in the original civil rights term that was for black people, but they changed the word to disadvantage. 15% to 15% by 2025, including Asian businesses. In 2023, federal agencies awarded a record-breaking $76.2 billion, or 12.1% of all contract dollars, the third year in a row under President Biden, which put the administration on track to reach President's goal of increasing federal contract dollars to SBDs by 50%. Last year awards Asian American-owned businesses more than $20 billion, an increase in $2.7 billion over the previous year. You see how I went to all that to specifically Asian American-owned businesses? You see that? This is what they doing with other groups. They getting specific dollars, specific money for their group. And instead of Dr. Dyson keeping us and keeping our eye on the ball, because all this shit come down to dollars and cents, this nigga want to talk about some Indian name. The fuck is going on here? What world are we living in right now?
Vice President Kamala Harris. And soon, we pray and hope and work that you will call her President Kamala Harris. So this is a note to put on notice anybody who would come for us, who would try to stain the reputation or besmirch the character of black women, not only the Kamala Harrises of the world, but the Shaniquas and the Jackies and the Renees and whoever else a black woman happens to be, and whatever else her...
That's the problem. Oh my God. I don't know black women that
So
cook
when
this
we were
shit.
growing up and we'd go to India, and my grandfather was a little mischievous.
Indian store. So we're busy.
Okay.
And then doses take a really long time to make the batter. So what we have is this great company, this Indian company actually, makes ready to make. You can get it at the Indian store. So we're busy. It's dripping.
Okay.
It's
It's dripping. Okay. So South Indians, it's vegetarian. It's all vegetarian. So when we were growing up and we'd go to India, and my grandfather was a little mischievous. So my grandmother, of course, was like strictly no, nothing. If it had a mother, it was not getting eaten. And if my grandmother would go out of town, my grandfather would then, he'd get very mischievous and he'd say, okay, let's have French toast. Because of course that has eggs.
So when I would go and visit my family, obviously no meat.
I don't know many black women that grew up vegetarian in India. I don't know too many. They trying to shame us black men and black people because we're saying that she's not the same as our aunties. She's not. And let me tell you a little bit, like, reason why I feel, another reason I feel this way, Brother Dyson. Like, let me switch scene. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? I switched scenes. Can y'all hear me? Yeah, okay, cool. So, another reason why this is so offensive is because when I was a kid, I remember my mom always being stressed out after work. And I went to Overripe Middle School. And my mom used to pick me up because my home school was Audubon. But I wasn't about to go to that goddamn school. There's too many fucking fights and bullshit going on in that school. So I went to the other side of town. And my mom would drop me off at school and pick me up. But on the way home from school, I used to have to listen to my mom every day talk about those other women in the offices that made her job harder. And my mom is actually lighter skinned than Kamala Harris. My mom is actually lighter than Kamala. My mom is lighter than Kamala and has longer hair than Kamala. Same texture and hair. Longer. And my mom is lighter. But she black. Her 2 parents, her 4 grandparents, her 8 grandparents, great-grandparents, her 16 great-grandparents, all black. My grandmother's 16 great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, all black. But we come in all shades in this country. That's why you don't judge based on phenotype. You judge, you look at culture based off of who raised them. And usually the mother is the one that imprints the culture on a child. 9 times out of 10, the culture of a person is going to be the culture their mother put them on. Okay? Not even the father, unless they were raised by their father. But if they're raised in both household, in the household with both parents, the mother is the one that teaches the culture. They're raised by just a mom, of course, and still the mother teaches the culture. Raised by just the father, it can change. And this is what any anthropology book could tell you. You could listen to me and go pick up a fucking PhD level anthropology book and they'll tell you the same thing. So you don't judge based off of phenotype. But I remember my mom being stressed out all the time at work because of the shit she had to deal with. And the daily microaggressions of being black. And oftentimes it was by women who could pass as black, but they was fucking the boss. And it's always the woman fucking the boss that make the rest of the women in the office job harder. And Kamala was the one fucking the boss. I said it. Kamala was the one fucking the boss. Let me see if I can find the article I had up here earlier. Let me see if I can find that article. You know, we talk about getting things from its root. This is an LA Times article from 1994, okay? Let me highlight. See the highlighter? 1994. This article is 30 years old. When I tell you I've been following Kamala Harris for a long time, nigga, I've been following Kamala Harris for a long time. I was a kid, 13. This when I was at Overripe Middle School. I used to always get the fucking paper so I could read what's going on with my Lakers. It wasn't no ESPN app back then, you young niggas. If you want to know what's going on with your Lakers, you had to have the LA Times, Jim Murray, and those guys to tell you what's going on. So I personally started getting the newspaper in the 6th grade so I could follow my Lakers. But I would also follow what's going on. You see how quick I was able to Google this shit? Look at this. Times staff writer. Assembly Speaker Willie Brown continues his rush to hand out patronage jobs while he retains his powerful post, has given high-paying appointments to his former law associate and former Alameda County prosecutor who was Brown's frequent companion. Brown, exercising his power, that's Mayor Sweet Dick Willie Brown of San Francisco, even as his speakership seems near to end, named attorney Kamala Harris to the California Medical Assistance Commission, a job that pays $72,000 a year. Harris, a former deputy district attorney in Alameda County, was described by several people at the Capitol as Brown's girlfriend. In March, San Francisco Chronicle columnist Herb Cahen called her the speaker's new steady. Harris declined to be interviewed. For all you niggas going around talking about, oh, DeJuan just hates black women because of the post that he put up. No, she ain't black women. She the kind of hoes that gets on her fucking knees to get around black women, and the black women who work their ass off to get to where they gotta go, gotta sit back and deal with this bitch because she fucking the boss. That's who she is. Don't conflate her with black women. Women like this made my mama job harder. Fuck out of here. Yeah. Yeah. This is from 1994. Copy, paste. It is now in the chat room. You niggas have at it. As a matter of fact, I know what I'm about to do. I'm about to do what I always do. Hold on, let me do this, because they be changing something. Sometimes when you find some shit, they'll take that shit down. Let me print this, print screen, save as a PDF. Yes, I'm gonna save it as a PDF. Yes. Yep. There we go. Make sure that I have my shit in order. And I have a file I'm gonna put this in. Hold on, I gotta do this shit while it's fresh on my mind, y'all. Cause I remember when my computer crashed? I had so many of these articles saved on my computer. But remember my computer crashed back in March, so I lost all that shit. So I'm having to rebuild my library of notes. I don't lie to y'all people. I tell y'all the truth. I tell y'all the truth. I don't lie to y'all. I tell you shit that's happened. So no, this isn't my mother, doctor. This isn't my auntie. This isn't Shaniqua. Shaniqua, my mama, my auntie had to deal with people like her that got on their knees to get ahead.
Name happens to be. We will stand tall for them. Not you unprincipled harridans, you people who assault the legitimacy of our black womanhood. More than 20 years ago, in 2003, I wrote a book called Why I Love Black Women. It wasn't a thing. It wasn't black women saying that despite our imperfections as black men, despite the ways I have personally hurt or harmed any human being who happens to be a black woman on this earth, despite all of that, what I have always understood is the principled deference to their power and their spirit, and the principled defense of their humanity in the face of unprincipled assault.
You know what'll help black women, Michael Eric Dyson, is not grouping them all in the same fucking category as if they're a herd of cattle. They're not a monolith. Remember I told y'all a long time ago when we was talking about Eric Dyson? Remember we was talking about all that, black, these stories from Kamala Harris go long, wide, and back far. That's why they've been talking about her for 30 years. And if you've been politically aware here in California, you've been hearing the name for 30 years. I don't have to do, for all you simp ass comics and people going around talking about us black folks, I don't have to do research on her. Been following her the whole time. Now, if she was in a different state, I wouldn't know this much. If Kamala Harris was representing Nevada or Connecticut or Washington, I wouldn't know shit, because I don't follow local politics in Connecticut, Nevada, or Washington. But I do follow California politics. And I've been following it since the 90s when I was, hell, before I was 10. I've always been interested in this shit. So let's not play these games with these supercalifragilistic, expialidocious ass wordsmith, hyper punctuating ass nigga ass, fake preaching ass, fake rapping ass niggas. No, I love Dr. Eric Dyson. You don't speak for us, man, and you don't speak for the intelligent amongst us, because the intelligent amongst us understands the difference between our black women and holds that clout chase blackness to get ahead. We know the difference. And we defend the black women who get taken advantage of by the women who cosplay as black women to get ahead as being black, only to turn around office and not be black and be whatever race they said the other race they is. And I say it is. Yes, I did. Not are. Said it on purpose. I was going to do the, I'll still try to get the Patreon. If I don't get the Patreon in today, I'll get it in for you guys tomorrow morning. I just had some shit come up on my phone. I just had some shit pop up, so I'm not sure if I can do the Patreon right now. But if I don't get it today, I'll get it in tomorrow where we're going to break down some of this music stuff. I'm still going to try to get it back in today. All right? But definitely Tuesday, Dr. Randy Short, we're going to go all the way in. We're going to just say the things that we cannot say on YouTube anymore, because YouTube's a bitch when it comes to stuff like that. So if you want to hear the unedited Dr. Short without us having to say, hey, don't say that, you got to get on Patreon, okay? And listen to us on Tuesday. And if you miss any part of this show, go back and listen to it. Go back and listen to Dr. Randy Short. He called in and talked about Dyson. We got it in today, all right? But go to patreon.com/DejuanB. Like I said, I'll still try to I'll get you guys a Patreon either today or tomorrow. But like I said, I just got a text message where some shit just popped off with one of my apartment buildings. And I'm like, God damn it. Can't even get a Sunday off. Shit. I wanted to chill today, y'all. Nigga, I'm a hustler, man. I got a lot of shit that I do. I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to come to y'all, do some Patreons, go listen to some music later on, and then, God damn it. Oh, but before I leave, I want to say thank you for my listener, Craig, in the chat. I don't know if he's here today. I don't know if he's in the chat. Man, but the brother gave me an award. This man, I appreciate this shit, man. It says, and it's for my documentary and my work, it says, I can show you better than I can tell you. Sandra K. McGuire, that's who the awards and dedication of is by Act Loud Productions. Actions often speak louder than words. What's your plan for showing rather than telling? We thank you for your devotion, dedication, and hard work. You are an important part of our Black community. This is from Act Loud, man. Hey, look, hey, this is dope as fuck, yo. I appreciate this shit. Cause I do my stuff from my heart. I really do. So when Black people take the time to acknowledge my work, and I'm not saying I wouldn't take awards. I'll take awards from anybody. Any human that acknowledges my work, man, that shit feels goddamn good than a motherfucker. But I like when Black folks give me stuff like this, because people always make dumbass cliche comments. Oh, Black folks don't stick together. Black people only want to see ignorance. How many times have y'all heard Black people only want to see ignorance? How many times have y'all heard that? I'll say this. The 2 times that I got an award was from Black people. The 2 that I have so far from my work is from Black people. So I want to say that. And I want to thank you, Craig. And here's a picture. We took this. I met up with him in front of Costco over here in Inglewood. This is Craig. Come on, goddamn picture. Hurry up. Shit. Here we go. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate the award. What's up, Jeff Brown? And thank Jeff Brown for yesterday's show, man. I'll name, but Jeff, I do know another Kamala Harris. I know a Kamala Harris. I know a Kamala Harris. She ain't the only Kamala Harris I know. There's definitely another Kamala Harris out there. Let me show y'all. No, make it a JPEG. They don't show this kind of image. There we go. I'll show you another Kamala Harris. Y'all remember him? Y'all remember Kamala Harris from wrestling back in the day? This nigga fought Hulk Hogan. This nigga fought the Macho Man. Y'all remember him? Y'all remember when he fought? Remember he kicked Hulk Hogan? He was kicking Hulk Hogan's ass for a little bit. Y'all remember when he fought Hulk Hogan? So Jeff, I do know another Kamala Harris. Here you go. Go look up that James Kamala Harris voices Hulk Hogan. I remember watching this shit with my grandfather. My grandfather was clowning me too. My grandfather used to always clown me. I remember watching this match on Saturday afternoon Superstars on one of the matches, and my grandfather was like, "That boy look like you, the one." My grandfather was clowning me. My grandfather was like, "He looked just like you." Remember when he lost? Remember when Kamala Harris lost to the Undertaker? Yeah. There go another Kamala Harris. Rest in peace, James Kamala Harris. Rest in peace, James Kamala Harris. Yeah. But thank y'all again for listening. Look, we gonna stay on. Look, until this election's over with, we are going to stay on these people's necks. You want to group all black? Look, if you say you speak for yourself, I ain't got no heat for you. But you want to speak for black people, or if you want to criticize black people, you want to talk shit about black people because we are not a monolith, no, the heat's going to come back to you. Whether it be Michael Eric Dyson, Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, D.L. Hewley, Joy Reid, any of you cornball ass motherfuckers. Y'all want to speak for us? Y'all want to talk down on us that aren't buying into the Democratic program? We're going to talk back. You guys aren't going to be able to talk. This isn't going to be a one-way conversation like it was back in the 90s, in the 2000s, when y'all going to say anything you want to a black person that don't fall in line and you be the final word. Them days is over with, nigga. We on the internet. You dig? But I gotta get up out of here. I gotta go handle this apartment business and shit. So I can't come to y'all on Patreon like I want to. But we're gonna get a couple Patreons in this week. But in the meantime, y'all need to go to Patreon. I got like a bunch of videos up already if you're not on Patreon. And if you've only subscribed within the first month, last month, you haven't had time to watch all the videos I have up on Patreon. So go catch up on what I got over there, and we're going to get you something new. You dig? Catch up on what I got, and we're going to get you something new. All right? Remember, there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those willing to pick up the game. Thank y'all again for listening. I'm out.